Hello everybody, it's Sylvie. Welcome back to Tarot Magpie. I hope you're doing good. Today's video is going to be another tag because I love a tag. This is one I've had bookmarked for honestly months, and I feel like it's the day for it. So this is the cliche tarot reader tag, and I think the original video was by Astrology Tarot. I will obviously link all the relevant links in the description box. And I think I first saw it on Angel's channel, Feeding My Soul 1212, who I will also link below. So yeah, it's a really grey, gloomy, miserable day. It's the 2nd of August and it's a really grey, gloomy, miserable day. And so I just felt like doing something a little bit fun and lighthearted because I wanted to. There we go, that's all there is to it. So I think there's 17 questions or prompts or what have you, and I'm going to get straight into it. So the first one is, do you have more than one version of a deck? And I do. So I have both versions. Oh my goodness, why are we so scratchy? I think there is sand. And this is the perils of being all cute and decorating your setup, right? Is that I've got seashells, and I think there was sand in one of them. Anyway, I have both versions of the Lifelines Tarot. So this was the first one I got, which is in this cute little scarf. I think it's technically like a pocket square or a handkerchief or something. How cool is the print? Anyway, this is the first one I got, and I was like, oh, I'll get myself a cute little travel deck. And this is I think this is the first edition he made. This is the Lifelines Tarot, and it's this. I've spoken about these decks loads. Cute mini with cool backs, single line artwork. So that's that one. There I am. And then I decided that I loved it so much I wanted the second edition that he came out with, which is the Colour Outside the Lines version. So this one, I don't regret having both versions. This one comes with a really nice little guidebook, and the backs look like this. It's bigger, and it's the same, I assume the same line work. I don't think he redrew it with colour added. So it's the same deck. This one's just colourful and comes with a guidebook. Do I need both of these? No. Do I even technically need the travel deck? Because I just tend to take whatever deck out with me. Also probably no, but I have both versions and I have no regrets. So I've made a mess. This is going to be impossible to clean up. But that is currently the only deck I have more than one version of. I don't have like an indie and a mass market of anything. So yeah, and then the second question is, do you own any backup decks? And no, I do not. I can't promise that I never would. But then okay, so I was thinking like maybe for my favourite decks, if I found like a affordable secondhand copy or something, or if they went on like a crazy sale, maybe I would buy a backup copy. That would either be the Trippin Waite, which I love a lot, but I don't think I'd buy a backup copy because I have another deck by the same company that looks similar, or the Terra Volatile. Do you know, if I found an affordable copy of the Terra Volatile, I would buy a backup deck, but that is the only one I can think of. Anyways, the third prompt is, do you have any tarot tattoos? No, I do not. I'm currently untattooed because I'm terrible at organising anything that doesn't have a hard deadline, which, you know, tattoos don't. But I do have so many ideas for tarot tattoos that I really want. But I'm a little bit worried that once I start, I'll want all 78. So we'll see what happens there. Do you drink tea? Is the fourth prompt. And yes, I'm English. So yeah, I drink tea. I'm quite boring with it though. I tend to go for just like a builder's brew. I don't really drink a lot of like herby fruity teas, although I do sometimes, but I'm like, it's a builder's brew and this is coffee. I'm more of a coffee girl on the daily. But yes, and do you own crystals is the next prompt. And yes, you can see an array in my cute little background here. And let me show you some of my faves. So, should we zoom in? Oh, the lighting is atrocious today, I'm sorry. So this is my nicest little chunk of rose quartz. this is a little rose quartz strawberry that my friend got me because I have a thing for strawberries. I'm just like, how cute is that? I love me some rose quartz. I'm just showing you my favorite crystals because I can. I also love me some jasper. This little handful of ones here because it comes in so many varieties. I probably can't remember what all these are. So this is Kambaba. No, this is Dalmatian jasper. This is Kambaba jasper. This I think was silverleaf jasper. This is pitcher jasper. I think this one here, this like red one, is a snakeskin jasper. And this one is like spider jasper. And then I always forget what this one is called, but I know it's jasper, and I think this is the one I've had the longest. Anyway, I love me some jasper. Like if I ever go into a crystal shop and they have this is why I have so many tumble stones. If they have a tumble of a kind of jasper that I haven't seen before or I don't have, I will buy a tumble of jasper. I also love tiger's eye in its various incarnations. So this is like your regular golden tiger's eye. It's so gloomy, I don't think it's catching the sheen. This is a pendant that I found in a charity shop like at least a decade ago, and I don't think I've ever worn it because I don't really wear necklaces, but it's my golden jasper. And then this is tiger iron. So this, not jasper, that was tiger's eye. This is tiger iron. So this is really not showing up on camera, but this is bands of, there is a little bit of tiger's eye in there, as well as red jasper and hematite. It's hematite, right? That's why it's so heavy. And then this is blue jasper, and it's just so pretty, and it's so gloomy that these are not showing up as anything but like black blobs. Anyways. Oh, and then this is one of my faves, which is another black blob. This is silver sheen obsidian, and I don't know if the camera is going to pick up the sheen of it, or if you're just getting the reflection from my window. Does that? Yeah, that's showing up. And I think the sheen is caused by air bubbles that get trapped. Ooh! Sorry. That's got to be bad vibes, right? Yeah, the sheen is caused by air bubbles that get trapped when the obsidian is forming, because obviously obsidian is rapidly cooled, like lava from volcanic eruptions. Which is why it's black, because the crystal structure is so disorganized that light can't get through. But I think the sheen is caused by air bubbles, and I've seen some with like really pretty rainbow sheen that are gorgeous that I would love. But yeah, I have a problem. I say it's a problem. Isn't this just so pretty? So I have a bit of a, I was going to say problem with my problem with buying crystals is that I buy tumbles because they're like cheap and they're easy, and I can have like lots of different kinds, especially like with my jasper obsession. But I want to buy bigger pieces. I want to buy bigger, prettier pieces, but I'm a sucker for a tumble stone. What can I say? Right, so the next prompt is, do you own tarot books? And yes, I have a little bit of a library going. I love me a book in any circumstance, so tarot books, obviously. At the moment though, I'm really loving, this is Tarot Spreads by Barbara Moore, which is one that I've been really enjoying recently. She goes through like the basics of tarot spreads and how to kind of format or create a spread, as well as a collection of spreads that you can use in there. Tarot and astrology is a forever favorite, especially with my very sporadic attempts at doing a deck and walk this year. This one's really good. It just goes through the astrology of each card, and it does give you like a meaning for the card itself, but also how, say like this one is Three of Wands, which is Sun in Aries, and how those two energies kind of combine to create the card. And then especially recently, I've also been really enjoying using the guidebooks with decks. So like the Sustain Yourself Oracle has this, I've complained about it, excessively large guidebook, but I really really enjoy it, as well as the Eldritch Overload Tarot, which I've spoken about a whole ton. This is a fun glitzy book, and I really enjoy the way it's laid out, because we have this little, like, it's a very obviously themed, it's a cyberpunk fantasy themed world, so the card description is of the artwork that it gives you, and then it gives you slightly more traditional upright and reverse meanings, and then it's also got these prompts at the bottom, like you should use these as journal prompts if that was your kind of thing, or it's just like good lessons to ask, and it can help me when I'm like not sure what a card is doing in a particular position in a spread. Like asking these questions helps to like open that up and guide me in a direction. So I adore this. And then also, because apparently I'm just talking about decks, the Influence of the Angels Tarot. This has such a good guidebook. It's got, can we see? I've just opened it random. So yeah, like here, the Seven of Swords. It gives you the numerology of the 7 down here, and then the symbols that are actually in the card. So here in this 7 of Swords, there's a wolf, there's a man, the sheep crook, and the sword and daggers. Like, what do the actual symbols in this artwork mean? And then it gives you like upright meanings as the direct meaning and shadow meaning as the reversed. And then for each card, it's also got an angelic message. And like, I'm not an angels person, but basically these are just messages or kind of advice that you can take from each card. And I think it's a really, really good little guidebook. So that was my long-winded response to whatever prompt this was, prompt number 6, about tarot books. I feel like the guidebooks was kind of like a cheating answer, but they're tarot books. The next prompt is about tarot journals. Do you have or use a tarot journal? And like, kind of. So the bulk of my tarot notes, like tarot study and my interpretations and meanings, as well as the bulk of my like logging spreads and, you know, my interpretations of spreads, it goes on Notion. I've got a video about it. I'm going to do a second video about how I log spreads, but I've been kind of changing up recently, so I want to feel like I know what I'm doing and feel like I'm in a consistent place with it before I talk about that. But I do have a video about how I kind of note take the tarot in Notion. But I do also have a couple of physical books. So I've got my, this is my planner. I've got a Hobonichi Day Free Techo, and I do my daily pulls in here. So I record my, like, June was a bit of a fail, but I record my like daily pull, and then in the calendar section I record my daily pull, and then the rest of the notebook is like notes and like common placing. And then I also have this gorgeous shiny thing, which is basically just like rough notes. So like often it's like, oh, I want to write something down physically, but I tend to only write up half a spread, and then I either decide that I don't need to note take that spread, or I decide to kind of put it on my Notion. So this is like basically when I want to physically jot some notes down, this is the book I do it with. Isn't she fabulous? And it's squishy. This is the most tactile and satisfying notebook in the world. Anyway, the next prompt, do you like to shuffle? Yes, I'm always bloody shuffling. It keeps my hands busy, and if I'm sitting still, I probably have a deck in my hands. I spend a lot of time at my desk, obviously, at my computer, and my tarot decks sit around my desk, so they're in easy reach if I want something to fidget with. Do you have fairy lights is another prompt, and yes, I do. I didn't realise this was a tarot cliche. I think my love of fairy lights partly comes from, first of all, I hate the big light. The big light is the enemy. I never turn the big light on. I like soft lighting. But also, like, I was a teenager on Tumblr, and I watched all of the like 2010s vloggers. So I think that's where my fairy lights cliche comes from. It definitely predates my love of tarot, for sure. The fairy lights came first. Prompt number 10 is, do you use candles? And like, yes, all the time. They're pretty, they smell nice, they're warm, which like sadly is a reason to burn candles with the cost of living at the moment. But anyway, and then I'm going to swap these. So incense is the next prompt, and yes, I love me some incense. This is my like incense box, and then I've also got like tea lights and candles and stuff in here, and wax nuts and things. Recently, what have I been loving recently? I feel like I've been burning a lot of dragon's blood recently. And yeah, I've definitely been burning incense more in the summer than candles because I need the window open for incense. It also requires a bit of like logistics because I can't have the cat in the room while I'm burning it because I don't think it's very good for her little lungs. And in the winter, she kind of lives on my bed because it's nice and warm. So it's candles in the winter, incense in the summer. Okay, so going back on myself, prompt 11 was, do you have a designated spot to read? And like no, not really. I do most of my reading on my desk because it's practical, it's near my decks, it makes sense. That's not because it's designated for that, it's just convenient. I would love to have a little tarot table and like have a designated spot for my decks and my reading, but I just don't have the space for that right here at the moment. So yeah, I also do a lot of reading on my bed because again, it's cozy, and like especially if I'm doing a more like self-care kind of reading, or if I'm feeling a little bit like anxious and I want to pull some cards to try and get my thoughts straight, I tend to do that on my bed. And recently, I've not been reading outside because the weather's been crap, but this summer I've been really enjoying reading outside lots. So no, I definitely don't have a particular spot where I do my reading. Yeah. Okay, the next prompt is, do you have an altar? And I'm gonna smush this together with the next prompt, which is gods and goddesses, because the answer is like kind of, but not too seriously. So I have a little bit of a thing with Aphrodite, or Venus, I suppose. There's a whole set of like coincidences and synchronicities and things, which I won't get into here and now, but I do have like a section of the shelf filled with things for Aphrodite. And so gods and goddesses, kind of, but I'm not really going to get into it right here and now. Prompt number 15, do you have a cat? Yes, I mentioned the cat. She's the reason I can't burn incense half the time. You may well have heard her in a previous video. She's very loud, she's mean, she shouts at me, she's a grumpy old lady, but I love her very much. She's extremely unhelpful when it comes to tarot though. She's definitely not like any kind of familiar, she's not channeling anything. I think she's a bit of a skeptic. The penultimate prompt is tarot bags and cloths, question mark. Yes, I love me a tarot bag and a cloth. Most decks are still in their boxes just because that's convenient, and a lot of them have nice boxes. I have a few decks that came with pouches that I use. This one's actually just the Oracle for the Tarot of the Crystal World. This is the, what's this deck called? This is so cool. This is the Judgment card from this deck. This is the Tarot Collectibles. I think it's called the Psychedelic Space Tarot. It's one of the UV decks. I have this pouch, which has, I don't know what deck to put in it, but like, look at the cute little rainbow. I also have my gorgeous Kelly Bear pouch with the orange and the pink and the flowers and the rainbow ribbon, which I love very much. I also love me a scarf to wrap a deck in. So this at the moment is holding my Terra Volatile because it's a shiny, shiny cloth for one of my favorite decks. And this is my other favorite cloth. We see the pink, we see the purple, we see the butterflies. Did I say purple instead of purple? I think I did. This is currently housing my Trippin Waite, which is sticky because I took it to a pub. But yeah, I tend to use this deck a lot for whatever is my like current handbag deck, which brings me neatly to the next question and the final question, which is, what is the deck that you carry in a purse or a bag, or do you carry a deck in a purse or a bag? And the answer is yes. I am never without a deck. If I'm going out the house for more than a dog walk, I'm shoving a deck in my bag. Kind of a bit of a security blanket at this point. I don't know what that's about. It's a me and my brain thing. It's like, I've got to have my AirPods, I've got to have a tarot deck, even if I have absolutely no intention of listening to anything or shuffling. Like, I've got to have them with me. So the Lifelines, the mini one, this one, was the deck that I bought to be like a travel deck. But more often than not, I tend to just switch it up with whatever deck I've been having a good time reading with. Like I say, it's usually a tarot collectibles deck like the Trippin Waite, because they're easy to read with because they're Rider-Waite Smith clones, but they're also really fun to look at. If I'm like going away for a weekend or for something in particular, I might try and like match the deck to the vibes or to the people I'm going to be with if I think I might end up reading for them. And I do also, I haven't got them handy, I do also have a few like mini travel decks in a tin, but they've actually never made it out with me, which is ridiculous because they would make the most sense. They're the most travel friendly, they're the most like resistant to damage being in a tin. But I do need to be more careful with decks out and about because like I say, I got my Trippin Waite sticky at the pub. I definitely put her down in some beer and I feel bad about it. But like I say, I have no intention of getting a backup deck for this, even though she's a bit bashed up, because like I have other similar decks and I quite like having my decks being, you know, it shows they've lived. It's like when people have like wrinkles and scars and sunspots and stuff, it's like this deck's been through it. I wouldn't want to just replace it. I have good memories with this deck. So anyway, that was the final question, final prompt for this little tag. I just thought it would be fun, and it was. I don't know, I haven't like totted up which ones I am a cliche about and which ones I'm not. I feel like I'm more of a cliche than not, but that's fine by me. Cliches exist for a reason. So that's everything. Thank you very much for watching. That's all the questions. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and for spending some time with me. Give me a like if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.